There's more! It was awful! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the opening nights. So, last week we discussed the sequel to Twisters, and this week we're discussing a film. Again, I'm a tad late to the summer movies. This was a double feature event that I went to with Honey Bear. Now we're here to talk about the surprisingly very successful film right now this summer, Deadpool and Wolverine, aka Deadpool 3. Okay. So, where do I even start? I don't know. Like, a lot of people have been talking about this one. It's now the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. It is it's pretty much, like, for a lot of people, a return to form for Marvel, because Marvel has been kind of sucking the last few years. Now, full disclosure, I have only really seen the first Deadpool. I haven't seen the second one, but I thought the first one was a very entertaining and hilarious movie. A big jab at all the properties, not just Marvel, but DC Comics, because Ryan Reynolds has actually been in both. He was Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he was also in the Green Lantern movie, which is fucking awful. So, it does take a few jabs. I love the fourth wall breaking. I think Deadpool is definitely a comedic genius in terms of being one of my favorite superheroes. Really funny, really on the nose. I can see myself kind of being that sort of character. I guess us Canadians just like breaking the fourth wall and cracking jokes at people's expense. But to the point, the first one I really like. I have not seen the second one. I heard mixed things about it. But then on top of that, I'm not really too big into Marvel. Okay, let me just verify. It's kind of like DC, because you put Batman in it, I'll go see it, because Batman is my favorite superhero. But Marvel, for me, I've always been about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man was the guy I always gravitated for since the 90s cartoon and so on. Outside of that, the Avengers movies, I don't mind all the team-ups. And then I have seen every single MCU movie up to, I want to say Captain America Civil War, and then I just started cherry-picking what I liked. The last Marvel movie I saw in cinemas was Spider-Man No Way Home a couple of years ago. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a great opening to the multiverse. I did like to see the return of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man among the villains, which almost made the Sinister Six. I like how they brought Tom Hardy in as Venom. It was all fantastic. And there was a good start to a great idea to expand the cinematic universe by bringing in older versions of properties to come in and say, hey, we could be a part of this too. But unfortunately, after the horrible reviews of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they completely fucked up that idea, because I felt like they were playing it too safe. They were cameos, and they were, I guess because they couldn't get all the actors they wanted, they just kind of cherry-picked what they could. So, like, I have seen little bits of Doctor Strange, and I do know that, apparently, like, I know Charles Xavier is in there as a variant, and they play the X-Men theme. Okay, that's cool. But don't really care about anything else in that film. I haven't watched anything from, like, the TV shows, so I haven't watched Loki, I haven't watched Daredevil, I haven't watched Iron Fist, I haven't watched She-Hulk. Like, I heard it's nothing but just complete and utter trash. And a lot of people do not favor those shows. Outside of, like, Daredevil and the stuff that used to be on Netflix. But with that being said, now we have Deadpool and Wolverine actually being the only Marvel thing that's out this year. Marvel has been kind of taking a break this year because they're prepping for, yes, Avengers 5 and 6, which is going to be Doomsday and Secret Wars. I'm going to be honest, I'm more excited about Secret Wars than I am Doomsday, because yes, I am aware that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to play Doctor Doom, or a variant, and then on top of that, not a big Fantastic Four guy, to be honest. I mean, I like the 2005 film, but that's about it. But to the point, with the MCU, I'm casual. Then we have the Fox Marvel movies. So, basically all the X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four. Now again, I've only really liked the first Fantastic Four. But, that being said, I'm going to be really honest here. I have not sat through, I'm not kidding, any of the X-Men movies. Like, none. Yente. None of them. Because, as much as I love the cartoon X-Men, the movies I didn't really gravitate towards, and I'm concerned to go back and watch them now and see if they even hold up as much. Although I heard the first two do, but then after that they just haven't been, they've been mixed. So for me, like, the X-Men movies are just kind of there. For me, I'm just like, okay, I'll just wait for Hugh Jackman to come in for the Avengers. And you know what? We got it. Because not only is Deadpool now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we now have Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. So it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in a buddy cop comedy adventure, and the plot is basically the multiverse police from Loki, again I haven't watched the show, come in to take Deadpool out and say, hey listen, we need your help, but you're gonna have to sacrifice your universe, and Deadpool's like, fuck that, I'm not doing that, and I gotta figure out who I can get to save it, so he goes to find a variant of Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, and all throughout the multiverse, coming across a lot of cameos, a lot of appearances from other Marvel characters, and some unexpected, some surprising, and some are frickin' awesome. And that's all I'll really give about with no spoilers. This is going to be a spoiler review because I do have some things to say about certain cameos and certain things, but overall, with the third Deadpool and being a team-up with Wolverine, had a blast. Had a really fun time with this one. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. I thought the action was fantastic. The movie's got a rockin' soundtrack. I am aware that NSYNC's Bye 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 has just returned to the charts, the top 5, I think, because of this movie. Yes, I did do the dance on TikTok. It's fun to learn. It's huge right now. I do like hearing that song. It's great. I love NSYNC. Backstreet Boys, the boy band shit. Love that. But outside of that, like, the soundtrack's great. You got, like, the song from Grease, You're the One That I Want. Now I want to see, like, a cosplay masquerade where you have a Deadpool and Wolverine fighting on stage, and then all of a sudden John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John come out, like, cosplays of those, and they just sing in the background. Something like that would be interesting. That just, I don't know, get Peter Griffin going, gotta give it up, you gotta give up the toad. I don't know, just something. I want to see that at a Comic-Con. So that, I think, was, the soundtrack's great. Madonna, just so many great, pieces of soundtrack in this. It's a fantastic piece. They include themes from other films as well, which I thought was fantastic. All that's great. It's got a great soundtrack, great action, amazing humor. Like, the fact that Marvel was able to say, okay, Ryan Reynolds, y'all can make a good comedy, go R-rated, we'll let you guys do that, we're really pushing the boundaries here, but then on top of that, you know what? Yeah, we'll admit, we've been sucking lately, so have at it. And the fact that the movie is self-aware to say, yeah, guys, we know Marvel isn't doing well. You know, you gotta give some respect for a studio that hasn't been doing really well to say, we know, and we're going to try to course correct it with this going forward, and I hope that's the case with this. So that's also fantastic, but then also, it's really, the heart of the story is Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They work so well together. It is, I love buddy comedies, like, you know, Toy Story is one of my favorites. You know, stuff like that. Just these two guys that should not be together at all, like, in terms of working together. And they work off each other, they rip into each other, they fight, but then they work together, and it's really fun. It's surprising how entertaining this movie is, and how, like, a simple concept can be like a grand scale adventure, because, you know, there's so many great moments in this. The scene in the car fight is hilarious. Even the fight in the Void, which has, like, some really cool Easter eggs. You have the 20th Century Fox logo, which we've known since the production. But then in the background, I was like, huh, that's the CN Tower. Okay, Ryan Reynolds, you know what? Good job, our Canadians. So that was pretty cool. It was also just nice to see, like, other characters in this that shocked me, surprised me. I mean, first and foremost, let's just talk about the main one that I already talked about, Chris Evans, who we all know right now is Captain America. and there's been debates if he is ever going to come back. And here he is back, and it kind of fooled me. I'm thinking, okay, you're doing Captain America. Okay, this is interesting. He ended up in the void somehow. But right before you think he's going to say Avengers Assemble, he says, flame on. And I was like, right, he was the Human Torch. He was Johnny Storm. Okay. And that was really fun. And I love the fact that even the effects look like they did in 2005. Again, give them credit for that amount of detail, for the rendering. So, you know, to see him there as Johnny Storm, Human Torch was really cool. Nice little nod to the Fantastic Four there. But outside of that, you have, like, Beast is in this, or, not Beast, Saberwolf, or Sabretooth, I can't remember, Wolverine's brother's in this, he has a moment. You have Pyro, you have a lot of X-Men in this. There's a lot of tributes to the Fox X-Men, I guess in a way to bridge them into the MCU, because I have heard with the, with Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's been cautions of whether or not to just reboot these IPs now that they own them, or to just get the original actors back to play the parts. And honestly, I like the fact we're getting the actors back. I do like the fact that don't fix what isn't broken. So I am thoroughly under the belief that we're going to see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman return as Deadpool and Wolverine in Secret Wars, among a few other people. But outside of but again, going back to sort of the Fox Marvel days, there's also, well, before we get to that, I should talk about, the Wolverine variants that Ryan Reynolds goes through, sung to Power of Love from Back to the Future, which I'm like, oh, that was nice. You see different variants of Wolverine from the comics. You see the one with him versus Hulk, which I'm like, okay, let's make this movie now. I heard that was supposed to be the Edward Norton Hulk, but I think that's been kind of contradicted. I don't know if they're ever going to bring that guy back. But that was cool. But then the one everybody talks about is Henry Cavill. Yeah! Henry Cavill's in this movie as a variant of Wolverine, and this was just Ryan Reynolds getting giddy and saying, you know what, let's take a jab at DC, because you gotta admit, I'll actually admit, I feel so bad for Henry Cavill and how they treated him at DC, promising him to be a proper Superman. They just decided, no, we're just gonna reset it. And the fact that Deadpool's like, we're gonna treat you better than those shit fucks down the street, I would have gone with Dick Cox, because that's the initials for DC Comics. I guess they couldn't do that. That was too on the nose, but it was nice that they gave basically saying, you know what, this feels right. And who knows, maybe Henry Cavill will come back to be Wolverine. I mean, that would be kind of cool, actually. He did okay for the most part. But then we get to all the Fox Marvel characters outside of Johnny Storm. We get the likes of, not Charles Xavier, but apparently his twin sister, his evil twin sister, which... is that in the comics? I think it probably will be. You have the Juggernaut's in there. I don't remember if he says I'm the Juggernaut bitch. I wish he did. So Juggernaut's in there. And I think there's one or two others. I couldn't really keep track of what other X-Men characters were in there. But then we get to the multiple Deadpools and the Dogpool, who is adorable, and Nicepool. And you get all these variants of Deadpool, which I think is fun. And then you get, oh, by the way, Happy's in this, from Iron Man. So again, to bridge it with the MCU, it's nice to see him there. But you get things like, okay, so when they get to this underground resistance that's fighting against Charles Xavier's sister, it's led by Jennifer Garner as Elektra from the Daredevil movies, and there is a nod to Ben Affleck not being in this. I wish he was in this. Nice reunion with Cavill. She's in there, surprisingly. You have X-23 from Logan, which, again, I have not seen. You get Channing Tatum as Gambit in an accurate costume. I like the accurate costumes in this. But on top of that, I think it's, again, because apparently he was supposed to get a Gambit movie and that never happened, but they just decided to put it in here. But for me, this was great. Wesley Snipes' Blade is back, and I'm thinking, and there's a line everybody brings up where he says, you know, there's only one Blade. Well, given the fact that the Blade movie is just right now in limbo, I think that's for the better. You know what? Screw the Blade movie. Just do Blade 4. That's all we need. Incorporate him into the MCU, that's all I want. Get Wesley Snipes in there. I think he would be great. I think it's cool that he's in there. I forgot also Ryan Reynolds was in those. Maybe he was a variant of Deadpool in that timeline. Who knows? But it was cool to see all those guys in there. Really fun to see them all team up. The team up at the end was fantastic. And again, Hugh Jackman is really giving it his all here, and the fact that they were able to find a way to bring him back while still respecting what happened at the end of Logan, from what I heard, that was pretty cool. And also, my favorite scene is two scenes. I love the dining scene where he's just, like, they're all trying to find food, but there he is trying to find the booze, and what does he find? Like, rubbing alcohol for, like medical stuff, and Ryan Reynolds is like, oh, there goes your liver. That scene is fantastic, but then I also really like the bit in the car where Hugh Jackman just goes off on Deadpool, and his speech there is so, not just, like, impactful and well acted and funny, but you look at Deadpool's face, and just by the mask, you're like, damn, he hurt his feelings, and then that fight just goes out. It's a great scene. It's a really, really cool scene to see all put together, which I thought was fantastic. And again, all the stuff, there's so much that happens in this movie. I will say one complaint I have, this movie does feel a tad too long. It feels like there's moments at the third act where it's constantly never ending. And that's the only real gripe I have in terms of just, like, a nitpick in terms of just the pace. It did feel a little long. It felt longer than Twister, actually. And actually, what's funny, so when all the Resistance characters comes in, I remember Honey Bear was like, is that Wesley Snipes as Deadpool? And I'm like, yes. Yes, it is. But, God, there's just so much to talk about. Everybody's been talking about this movie like crazy. And here I am just being a casual viewer, casual Marvel guy, liking what they're doing, really entertaining, and also Hugh Jackman putting on the mask is amazing. I knew it was coming, but it's like, that was awesome. So, I don't know what else to say. I pretty much spoiled the whole goddamn movie. I don't really know anything else to talk about other than, yeah, it's worth the praise, it's worth the hype, it's worth the box office revenue. If you have not seen the movie, go check it out, go watch it, go support it. This is what Marvel needs to do with the multiverse. This is the stuff we pay for. We don't pay for some stupid bullshit that you've been messing around with, Disney. I've heard some employments have been dropped off from people who might have contributed to the badness of Marvel, which, great, get rid of them. If they can't do the job, fire them. But it's cool to see movies like this. Once every few years, I'll go see a Marvel movie, and if it intrigues me, and this intrigued me, this was entertaining. My rating on it, it's about a 7.5 or an 8. It's not, I mean, it's on par with Twisters. It's just being a good, entertaining summer blockbuster film. But it does have a lot of heart. It does have a lot of humor. It does have a lot of great moments that are really going to be part of Marvel's history. And I had, overall, a really good time. And with that said, what do you guys think of Deadpool and Wolverine? What is your favorite Fox X-Men or Fox Marvel movie? Let me know in the comments. Do you like this more than the other films? And would you recommend me watching Deadpool 2? Let me know in the comments section below, and maybe I'll take a look at it someday. So, what is happening next time? I have no idea. There's a couple other movies coming out. There's some Patreon requests. There's some people requesting me to talk about certain films, some older movies, which I probably will do. But, yeah, that's all I got for today. Go support our Patreon. Keep the like and share with your friends all these videos. And until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is not Deadpool. Big Jack Deadpool. Big Jack Pool signing off. And, to quote Ryan Reynolds in the movie, "Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disneyland."